swear.
You can pull out.
Perfect. I do need a book. dropping things is the problem I'm having. Maybe if I had...
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom and welcome to everybody here in person and also welcome everybody who's joining us via our live stream. We have an extra special treat tonight. Chris is going to be doing much of the music for the first time, so we're very excited. Thank you for joining us and being brave. And so we need everybody to sing along and help and participate. And we'll start with, as we light our Shabbat candles on page 2, and we'll welcome the Maldet family forward. We'll continue on page 10 with Hine Matov. How great it is for us to be together.
Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
As we welcome Shabbat into our hearts, on page 20 we join in Lecha Dodi and on what can only be this picture-perfect day. With the greenery, and we have our tablets shining in the sunshine. we are reminded of those ancient ancestors who would go out into the field in Tzfat in northern Israel, and the sun is setting, and they would welcome the bride of Shabbat into their hearts as we welcome the bride into our hearts as well. So we'll be doing verses 1, 2, and 9 on pages 20 and 21.
Likrat kala, l'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'cha dodi, likrat kala, l'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'cha dodi, likrat kala, l'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'cha dodi, likrat kala, l'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shalom v'zachor b'vorechad, Yishmi'anu el hamichon, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem al tiferet v'litila l'adodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'adodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat nechu v'necha, mihi mikor ha'veracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof na'aseh v'mashati l'adodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'adodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. B'mi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'sala, tov v'nei ha'zila, u'hicha u'hicha. Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'adodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated as we turn down that. As we turn together to page 24 and join in Shalom Aleichem, those words of welcome and blessings of peace that we say to each other.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 27. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew our days, lest my day be done today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We rise together for Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
Yid Gadol v'Yid Kadash me Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach rotei amlik malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayedecho bet Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv. V'meru, amen. Yehesh me Rabba me varach, le'almomo me almaya, yitbarak, yitbarak v'yishtabak, v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithale v'yithalon, shmei kedisha b'richu, le'almin kol b'chirata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'meru. Amen.
We turn together to page 28 as we join in Baruch, our call to worship.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Please be seated as we continue together on page 31. Let's join at the very top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the ways on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the time of tide and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ahavat olam, Bet Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limad.
to help us. Mariah, next week, we'll be celebrating her bat mitzvah, right? Yeah? Okay, good. You didn't sound sure. You're like, yes!
Yes.
Excellent. Good. All right. So we'll turn together to page 34 as we rise for Shema.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated as we continue on the following page with Va'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'chol nafshecha
ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם ושכבך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Yasher Koach. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. So we join on page 40 in our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha.
Mi hamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norai tehilot, o seif eleh, Norai tehilot, o seif eleh, Adonai imlok leolam.
Let's join together in the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah, atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah, atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleichem ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment, enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. And we thank God for the blessings and the opportunities that we have to celebrate Shabbat together as we join in Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asut et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asut et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei Reuven, b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asut et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asut et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asut et hashabat ledorotam berit olam.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise together for Amidah, page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise. Page 48.
Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasiyahot v'imahot, U'mevi gula livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozir u'Mashiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah rav laHoshia, Morid hatal. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishanei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'nei Amon atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, V'kedoshim b'chol yamacha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Together, may all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Let's join together at the top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us, For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And we join in our prayer for peace, page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Etov b'neinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We take some time, some moments of silent prayer. Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We turn together to page 253, and there we find our prayer for healing. Healing comes in many, many different ways. There's healing of body and soul and mind and heart. And as we think of all those who we know, our friends, our family, those closest to us, perhaps those people who we don't even know, who need that blessing of healing, that extra energy of healing that we can, with our collective breath, give them. And so we think of, especially in our congregation, we think of James Chavez, Etta Howell, Irv Willis, Ella Kobos, Carol Ford, Wendy Sherman, Diane Kaler, Isabel Bostwick, April Wortman, Michael Shavetsky, Rabbi Brad Liefeld, Stephanie Willis, and Carol Lou Eisenhart. If you are joining us via live stream and you would like to add a name, please add the name into our chat. If you are here in person and would like to add a name as I look around, please do so. Let's join together.
Mishapera avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. We are nearing the very end of Leviticus. We have this week, and then Mariah gets to read the very last of the parshiot in the book of Leviticus. So we'll join there. But this week, we have lots of information about the land. It begins by describing, first of all, it's interesting, it opens by saying, God spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, which is different. Usually it's just God spoke to Moses, right? And then you have whatever the instructions are going to be. This portion begins, God spoke to Moses, Bahar Sinai. Why all of a sudden are we throwing that into the mix? Well, let's keep going. Talks about what happens when we enter the land. Right? What happens when we enter the land of Israel? Up until now, we have been wandering around in the desert, collecting. We have been engaged in several wars throughout the last 40 years, but we have been a nomadic group. The question now becomes, how do you transition from that to being permanently settled in a land? And God gives us these challenges, because if you stay in one place, there are issues that you need to deal with that you don't have to deal with if you're moving around, right? If you're moving around, you can farm for a year in a particular place, harvest whatever you've grown, pick up, and you move on to the next place. If you're stationary, you're going to be harvesting in the same spot. Okay, now what happens if you harvest? Anybody a farmer? Right? Good. Right. So what happens if you farm continually in one spot without giving the land a rest? The land depletes its nutrients. Okay? So God says, okay, the land needs Shabbat too. So the land needs a Shabbat, and so you can plant, but you can only plant for 6 years, and the 7th year the land has to be allowed to rejuvenate. Okay, so what's the problem? What do you eat? And there's a bigger problem, because if you don't plant for a year, you can't harvest the next crop, because otherwise you have no seeds for the following year. So so in the 6th year, you need 3 years worth of harvest. You need a year of harvest that you're going to eat in that 6th year. You need a year of harvest for what you're going to eat in the 7th year when you're planting, finally able to plant, and then the 8th year when you can actually eat something. So you need those 3 years worth of harvests. Why do we need to have this information? Because we're nearing the end, right? We're about to skip about 38 years of time when we jump into the next book, and so we're nearing the end of this travel. We're nearing the end of this wandering, and the people are getting anxious, right? How many people want to know what's coming next? I hear that from a few people once in a while. Right? There's nothing more fun than doing a trip somewhere, and people always want to know, what are we doing now? Right? That's especially fun when it's like a 4-week Israel trip. And it's, a month worth of, what are we doing now? But the people are getting anxious, right? They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what's going to be. And so this is the beginning of the transition. Getting people to think differently between this nomadic group and now being settled. And then there are there's another rest that the land gets every 50th year. It's called the Jubilee. And these are so every 50th year you also, not only do you let the land rest, but any land transactions get reshuffled. So if you lease somebody or sell somebody a piece of your ancestral homeland, it then gets realigned in the 50th year. And it all goes back to what it was. Right? So this sort of preserves the ancestral or the tribal designations of who gets what pieces of land, because it all gets sort of reassigned or reconfigured at the end of the 50th year. So of course people are going to say, well, what happens if you buy it in the 49th year? Right? Does that mean you lose? No. What it means is that the contracts that are written in such a way as to incorporate the changes. So if you are purchasing a piece of property, you will buy it in the 49th year for whatever it is, with the promise that it will then be renewed to you in the following, after the Jubilee, etc. Right? So that remains, really, so that it kind of keeps the whole together. Have any of you ever looked at a map of I'm sure you never looked at the maps, but the map of rural Quebec. I got you. Right? So, the maps of rural Quebec. So, you had rivers, and stemming from rivers were very long, more or less narrow farms. And you had these farms that would pass down from one generation to the next. So, farmer one had a farm this big and had 3 children, and you had 3 farms now this big, and this big. And those 3 children had 3 children, so now you have 9 farms, this big, this big, this big, this big, okay? Right? So you have these teeny tiny little strip of farms that all come off the river. And this process avoids that. It avoids all of the land kind of being split up into such small spots that you can't actually farm it. But more importantly, it's really the opportunity to think about the land needs a rest. And just as we do, we every week, we come to the end of our week and we say, we need that rest. I was meeting with somebody who was struggling with life and work, and was saying, you know, at the end of the week, I just need a day to relax. And I said, what a great idea. I got a name for it. Right? Shabbat. Right? It's amazing how brilliant our ancestors were. That they knew that we are way more productive, and it's been studied and proven, you are far more productive if you have that day off a week than if you work continually. Right? Just working, there's a diminishing return. And so God and our ancestors really understood that we needed that time to decompress, to change. So when the text tells us that you shouldn't do any work, it doesn't say that all your work is going to be completed, because work doesn't really ever complete, right? I mean, I've been a rabbi since '97. I don't think there's been a day where I've said, I have nothing to do. There's always something, right? There's always something you could do. But Shabbat is that moment where we say, I'm going to act as if all my things are done. Because I need those moments to regenerate and to refresh. So as we enjoy this beautiful Shabbat evening, we are refreshed, and we are thankful to Chris for being brave and singing for us so beautifully. Thank you so much. And we are going to continue on page 282 as we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה לארצי בראשית, שלא עשנו בגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא הארץ, ומושל יקרוב בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו Begohev meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato, Kagatuv Betorato, V'datahayom, V'hashivota Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, B'shamayim ima'al, Ve'yoretz mi'achatenu. V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, Lemelech kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad.
Please be seated. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. Life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. We are in the period of Aninut, the period before the funeral for Carol Zacks, and we extend condolences to the entire Zack family. The funeral for Carol will be on Tuesday at a time to be set, probably Sunday or Monday. We'll keep you updated via our email about that. We are in the period of Shloshim for Janet Crindle, and on this Shabbat we observe Yartzeit for Eliezer Goldsmith, Bessie Jacobs, Max Galinsky, Isidore Levick, Bertha Wertheimer, Rabbi Max Kurek, Esther Lucas, Merle Sadi, Julia Goldman, Charles Levick, Cantor Judah Smith, Patricia Seligson, Isaac Rosenthal, and Cornelia Ella Pless. If anybody has a name that they would like to add, if you're joining us via live stream, please add the name into our chat. If you are in person and have a name to add, please do so.
Royce Haas.
We turn together to Words of Kaddish on page 294. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma tivrach v'rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei b'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'elam l'ameh armaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei b'kusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. I'd like to say a word. Please. Which word would you like?
So I am too young, actually, to remember Rabbi Kurek, but in doing some digging for the 150th book, I read a lot about Rabbi Kurek, who, those of you who were never in the 10th Street Temple may not really recognize the name. He was one of the earliest rabbis, and he was rabbi for a very long time and very much beloved. And the addition on the temple on 10th Street was called the Rabbi Maxey Kirk Memorial Edition. But he was involved in, you name it, in the Erie community, and he was pretty much a part of it. And when he died, it was front page of the Erie newspaper. That's how much he meant, not only to the Jewish community in Erie, but to the overall community in Erie. So for those of you who don't recognize the name, I just wanted you to know what a wonderful, wonderful rabbi Rabbi Kirk was for this congregation and for Erie. Thank you.
I think if I make it as many years, I'll be Lyman's age by the time. Great. Thank you, Julie. We'd like to invite Lauren Unger forward to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach to Chris and to Lori as well. Thank you very much, and Rabbi too. Don't forget tomorrow morning we have the bar mitzvah of Joshua Gardner, and that on Monday the office will be closed for the observance of the holiday. There will be a blood drive here on Friday, June 7th from 12 to 4, and please see your emails for more information. Also coming up, the 150th anniversary celebration. So make sure that you RSVP for service and reception on Friday night. And if you're going to come on Sunday afternoon for the open house, you could let us know about an RSVP at that time as well. And then check your temple topics and your emails. And Shabbat Shalom, and go New York Rangers. Just had to put that in there.
Go Orange?
New York Rangers.
Unfortunately,
Orange always gold. Always gold.
unfortunately, I am rooting for the Stars. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. You're in the open conference.
That's fair enough.
There we go. Okay, and so we'll conclude with Ma Yefe Hayom, back on page 10, how beautiful this day is.
Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Mariah, Naomi, I need some help. Mariah's like, I know you need help.
What do you want me to do about it?
Right. Come on up. Excellent. Got it? Okay. Ready? Baruch
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'rasavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon higilanu,
Ready? How does it start?
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Rip off a piece. Shabbat shalom. Chris, yasher koach. Nicely done. Ali, thank you. Lori, thank you. Shabbat shalom, everyone.